Welcome to General Assembly this evening. Can we take attendance?
Representative Atashlu. Representative Bagat. Representative Crawley. Representative Haas. Representative Hamilton.
President voting.
Representative Hammond. Representative Kawashima.
President voting.
Representative Mikowski.
President voting.
Representative Matthews. Representative Moser.
President voting.
Representative O'Brien.
President voting.
Representative Fundat. Representative Zalowski.
President voting.
Representative Shim.
President voting.
Representative Baisley. Representative Bell. Representative Downey.
President voting.
Representative Hoffman. Representative Lupton.
President voting.
Representative Schillo.
President voting.
Representative Villano. Representative Zoltan.
President voting.
Representative Brubaker.
President voting.
Representative Pak. Representative In.
President voting.
Representative Fernandez.
President voting.
Representative Sedano.
President voting.
Representative Asaf. Representative Gunasekar. Representative Moeller.
President voting.
Representative Redemsik.
President voting.
Representative Ianniti.
President voting.
Representative Irizarry. Representative Zane.
President voting.
Representative Irick.
President voting.
Representative Lux.
President voting.
Representative Tykin. Treasurer Shaw.
President.
Speaker Douglas.
Present.
Parliamentarian Agarwal.
President.
Vice President Nguyen.
President voting.
Vice President Thompson.
President voting.
Vice President Sanford.
President voting.
Vice President Wang.
President voting.
Vice President Weber.
President voting.
President Pinder.
President voting.
Okay.
All right. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
President Pinder.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you had an enjoyable weekend. Just to kind of touch base on some things, I would like to welcome Karen Oy from the Kelvin Smith Library. She'll be touching on some things that KSL has been doing to improve the student experience with the library. So I'm really excited to hear about that. Next week, Rick Bischoff will be here. He's the Vice President of Enrollment Management, and as the Vice President of Enrollment Management, he oversees the Financial Aid Office and the Undergraduate Admission Office. So please come ready with some questions for him. I've met him several times. He's really, really excited about serving the university in this capacity. So please come with some questions about his role and what he can do to better this university. So one big thing that the exec board talked about and discussed and decided last week is that we will be moving the speaker election to the spring. Some of you who are familiar with USG in the past, usually we elect a speaker in the fall because we want the new assembly to be able to elect their representative to the executive committee. But because of this, it has prevented the Speaker of the Assembly to kind of be present at the exec retreat and take part in the summer activities that the USG Executive Board does. With the increased activity of the caucuses and the increased role of the Speaker that has taken this year, we as an Executive Board think it's really important that the Speaker be kind of involved in the executive committee from the spring to the summer on. So because of this, we will have our inauguration on the 14th of April, which will inaugurate the new members. We'll take nominations that Tuesday before, and then we'll elect the speaker on the last GA of the year, okay? All right, just kind of touch base on some things. Last week, we did have a student come in and kind of express some concerns about the overall disbursement process. We were able to kind of meet with that student to kind of hash out some things. His frustrations are, you know, are justly based because the disbursement process is a very tedious and frustrating process. Unfortunately, he took his frustrations out on Treasurer Shaw, and they were misplaced. We did have a really good discussion with myself, Treasurer Shaw, and Vice President Weber to kind of hash out the concerns and kind of discuss how the overall disbursement process works, so you kind of understand what we do on the back end. And we left that meeting having a really, really good understanding. So he left, and his executive board left with a really good appreciation for what Treasurer Shaw does on a day-to-day basis. And we kind of left with some things on our end that we're doing to improve the overall process. So Max has done a really good job interfacing with Vice President Dick Jamieson, trying to improve the disbursement process, so these things will be forthcoming. Another thing I wanted to touch on, when he spoke, after he got done speaking, Vice President Weber aptly defended Treasurer Shaw. One of the things I don't know, I think was misplaced was there was snapping after Max's comment. I understand because it was very aggressive, and the way this person presented himself was, you know, attacking Treasurer Shaw. However, I do believe that if we have a student come into our assembly, we should be as open and as friendly to that student, and we shouldn't kind of try to take sides regardless of how that student comes to us. So in the future, if a student comes, let's try to be as open as possible and kind of, you know, leave our biases out of it, okay? All right, I'm open to points. Vice President Thompson.
Will exec be meeting at the regular time?
Thank you for reminding me. So exec board will meet Wednesday at 2 o'clock in the USG office, because the Students Who Make a Difference luncheon is this Thursday at 11:30 to 1. Thank you.
Representative Lupton.
Yeah, how do you plan on electing the speaker? You would elect the speaker for next year?
So the new assembly will be elected on March 26th. That's when the elections end. They'll be inaugurated on April 14th at the inauguration ceremony, so they will be given all the voting rights of a USG member. And then on the last GA, the new assembly will elect the speaker. So those people who were elected in the spring elections will elect their speaker. Okay.
Representative Perlowski.
Will we also be building into the Constitution?
Yep.
Determining quorum for the new assembly in order to elect the speaker, because we obviously may not have quorum because we won't have our freshman representatives.
Sure.
Got any other questions for President Pender? Thank you.
Thanks.
Vice President Wynn.
Okay, so I'm going to go over a few points here. There's a lot of stuff in my board report, so I'm just going to go over the main topics. You can read over the details later. And then I'll yield my time to some of the members of my committee to kind of go over what their projects have been for this semester. First and foremost, I want to talk to you guys about one of the initiatives that one of my committee members can't be here for because they are international students. They're not actually a part of USG. But because of them, I want to thank Wenlei and Chang for their work, because for the first time ever, Case Western Reserve University was going to have their first international student orientation. And that is going to be a kind of weekend, or August 13th to 15th, where we will hope that we can better adjust the international students to the Case culture. There's a couple points in there you can read more on what it'll entail. You should have gotten my email to become an international student ambassador. Consider this seriously, because you guys have been experienced. You've been here at Case, and you know very well being in USG. So I think your leadership could provide a great benefit to this program, and seeing that we've had such a huge part in kind of erecting this program in the beginning. So kind of maybe try to think about whether or not you want to apply. The deadline is this Thursday. There's a stipend of $150 involved. And then I kind of want to update you guys on kind of the two legislations that we passed this semester, or maybe even last semester, I'm not even sure, kind of lost it. The first one is the Coffeehouse study space. I want to let you guys know that it's still there, first of all. It looks beautiful. And there are now signs that read, brought to you by the Undergraduate Student Government and Housing and Residence Life for undergraduate students only. So if you see that there's a problem, or that there are maybe somebody that isn't an undergraduate student, ask them kindly, direct them towards the sign if you can. But also, we've also just opened this up as a reservable space via the housing website. So you can also reserve this for small gatherings, parties, or whatever. It's nothing big. And lastly, I kind of want to, and then the Euclid crosswalk. There have been plans now to kind of cut back that corner now, where Ford Auditorium is. There are plans, and I think the tentative timeline is that I was promised that it might be done before commencement. But again, we'll wait and we'll see about this. So that's what I'm just saying. Well, I'm not promising you anything, and I'm not guaranteeing anything. But they're working on it, which is good. And lastly, I kind of want to mention something. I want to kind of recognize Kevin Moeller, Representative Moeller, a little bit, because he kind of stepped up, and I kind of forgot to tell anyone about this. But while the student versus faculty basketball game is a tradition that we have here at Case, but and we usually have a USG representative be on the board for that, and we, as an executive board, meet during that time, so none of us could have been there. And when I sent out a letter, Kevin offered that he could help. So I wanted to let us just kind of thank him right now. If everyone can give him an applause. Thank you, Kevin, so much for that. The basketball game is this Friday. Ask him for more details, but we should all attend. And that's it. I'll yield my time to Allie and Mike. Yes?
The reservable space in the Coffeehouse, which reservation system is that under?
That should be other housing. Go under housing. So it's the same thing that you would do in order to reserve, say, the spot or the village study rooms or whatnot.
Representative Perlowski.
Is the speaker also aware that the students' faculty basketball game is in desperate need of female players from the students?
Noted.
Any other questions for Vice President Nguyen?
Let me yield my time to Representative Perlowski and Ignati.
So our current initiative through the Student Life Committee is to re-examine the dining options within Twing Center. We currently have Pura Vida as an option, and Vice President Jameson did present us with the option that U.S. Bank, as through their partnership with the Case One card, was interested in putting a bank teller station in there. But we kind of decided that it's in the best interest of the students that we should explore their dining options for the Twing Center.
One of the things we've been looking at is putting a Dunkin' Donuts in. And talking to some students, that's been a pretty popular option. A lot of people think the U.S. Bank would have too much of a corporate feel. We've talked to Colleen. She has this really great idea about maybe putting in a student-run business into the space there. We've talked about getting in contact with the business school, seeing if that could be like a senior capstone project that would get passed along to seniors. It's definitely something we would look into expanding once the bookstore leaves and moving it into that space.
So for the long term, we're thinking of we're pursuing options, talking with Casey Medley, the director of Twing Center, for a student capital kind of venture within that space. But in the short term, we are looking for some kind of name brand recognition food option for Twing Center to make it a more attractive space, kind of keep the vibe alive as it is in Nord with Einstein's Bagels. So that's kind of our stepping off point from here, and we're open to points.
Any points for the speakers? Okay. Thank you. Vice President Weber.
Hello, everyone. Another important week for Collegiate Link. Just to remind everybody, we're in like this rolling period right now where student groups can submit their recognition forms for next semester. We're getting great responses out of that. 24 have already been submitted. 28, pardon me, have already been submitted, and I think there's over 260 users on Collegiate Link, which is pretty impressive considering we haven't even kind of PR'd the entire thing yet. Finance Committee is going to be moving into that stage soon and kind of educating the whole campus about it, hopefully. So I have additional office hours this week for student groups to come in with questions. You guys can definitely stop by too, and we can go over some of the details. Finance Committee, I will say this in our email update, but definitely bring a laptop to our committee meeting on Friday so we can give you guys admin access and we can go through and do recognitions together because I'm expecting a lot to come in on Friday because that was kind of the due date we set, or preliminary due date we set at least for student groups. The other thing, just in regards to making improvements with regards to disbursements, there exists this document called University's Best Business Policies, and that's something that kind of governs how a lot of the disbursement process works in the university, and then also the university's relationship with like external vendors, so caterers and things like that. And there hasn't been a great deal of like student input with regards to this document. So like Dwayne mentioned, I've been in contact with Vice President Jameson, and we're working towards improving a lot of processes that are not student friendly in their current state, like the catering list, potentially expanding that. We're exploring options. In addition, we're getting some movement already, some positive results. Hopefully next semester, the plan is to have email notification when a check arrives to be picked up, because right now you don't know when a check arrives at Yoast if your disbursement's over $75. So that would be big because there's kind of this no man's time period where you don't know where your disbursement stands. So that's among the positive steps the Finance Committee is taking to improve the process for student groups to alleviate some of the concerns we heard last week.
President Pinder.
Is the speaker aware that there will be an article on Collegiate Link in Observer?
Yes.
Super.
Very, very good stuff.
Colleen.
What has been the response from the groups to your training sessions?
Training sessions, I would say, has been minimal, but my email volume has definitely picked up. I'm getting a lot of great questions from them, and it's real easy to communicate what we're trying to do over email. So I would say they're definitely buying in, and it's kind of human nature to like wait till the last minute. So I'm expecting pretty much between now and Friday to be a huge volume for Collegiate Link.
Representative Lupton.
Do you know if there's a time frame for checks? I recently got a check when that I need to pick up the Yoast, but I can't pick it up for several months because I'm not on campus, and I can't have somebody pick a check up for me. I don't believe.
No, but I'm not able to
Okay.
sign for it. I can check it in.
Okay. And one other question is, when student groups sign up and they're on Collegiate Link,
Yes.
the sorting. I know that A, B, C, D. You can check by alphabetical order. Is there some way that we're going to have that you can check by if it's a medical group or if it's a competitive group or a dance group, something, so we can see a list that would encourage collaboration?
Yeah, if you go to the organizations tab, it's across a horizontal like navigation bar. You click organizations, and you can sort by alphabetically, like you said. But if you click on organization tree, then you can view by the 8 categories that we sort group types by.
Representative Bagat.
Just to clarify, I remember last semester we were discussing, Collegiate Link, we had a certain number of organizations, UMass funding through that, and then the rest is still paper-wise, or are they all doing Collegiate Link now?
All through Collegiate Link now.
Okay.
Any other questions?
These are great questions, and my office hours are, available too. Just want to remind everybody.
Super. Representative Downey.
One last question, sorry. Are there any plans to do disbursements or procurement cards, P-cards purchases that are somewhat online?
Well, that's an interesting question, and we haven't really crossed that bridge yet because we're still doing the recognition stuff. But the issue with disbursements is, and Jaisel's going to explain this tonight a lot, but you need an original receipt to verify the purchase was correct. So we're not sure how you can submit the original receipt, but then submit it online. So we're not sure how that's going to line up. But when you request to use a purchase card, you turn that form in prior to making the purchase, and you get approval, and then subsequently make the purchase. So there's not an original receipt involved in that process. So hopefully we'll be able to set something up where those type of requests can run through Collegiate Link.
Representative Perlowski.
So we've heard a couple times from different people on exec, including yourself, that you're looking at kind of streamlining the disbursement process. I'm wondering if the Finance Committee or exec has talked about ways that we can be more supportive of our treasurer's workload, and maybe considering other options to allow her to, if there are a lot of requests, having a support system for her, having other people able to file those requests.
I mean, it's been discussed. I think in its current state, and please jump in here, I know one of the challenges is there's kind of like this master list that has all the disbursements, so you can't have like 2 people working on it simultaneously because it won't like sync or update, whatever. And the other thing is, I know everybody has their own system, and I know Jazel's is highly refined, so we're definitely going to explore ways to help make her job easier.
Okay. Thank you, Vice President Weber. Treasurer Shah.
Good evening, GA. About last week's confrontation, I didn't realize it would get so out of hand, but it made me realize that even though I can't do everything perfectly and I strive for it, but what I can do is better teach you and how the certain things work under my position. So even though we have the disbursement log, I'm going to actually go through the disbursement form and tell you as much as I can, as thoroughly as I can. And if you get lost, please, please, please don't hesitate to stop me. Okay. While Mintry will put that up. So student groups are given a certain amount of money via mass funding or rolling funding, and this money is assigned to a certain item that they want for that particular event. So when a group wants to be reimbursed, I have to look at what the event was, like the name of the event, and then look through my Excel sheet, find that event, and then also look at the description of the disbursement, which is the item that they want to be dispersed for. So I have to coordinate that and make sure I'm looking at the same items. And then if it's exactly that same amount that they were allocated for that event or less than that, then I can go ahead and process that. And I have to look at their receipt to make sure that they didn't like spend money on anything besides what they were dispersed for. And this is why I emphasize that students bring me the original itemized receipt, so I can make sure that yes, they bought the items that we allocated them money for. If the student wants to be reimbursed for something more than they were allocated, I have to look through their club balance, which is a separate account from what they were allocated. This is the money that the groups fundraise on their own, and they could use this for anything that they want as long as it benefits the club and the student body. They deposit this money so we can keep it for safety. Then there's also the purchase card request that Max explained. I have to look at, I wouldn't have a receipt, but I would have to be able to tell them whether they were, I have to email them and tell them if they were approved or not for that. Not to mention record the disbursement transactions. And I have like all the information written down in the agenda, so you can go back and look at that. The amount of disbursements that I receive on a normal weekday is about anywhere from like 1 to 20, and the student handbook says that students must turn in their forms 2 weeks following an event, and what happens after that is based upon my judgment, and telling a student that they can't be reimbursed is the last thing I'd want to do. So the treasurer's position is a ruthless and tedious job, but I find it quite satisfying. And to run for this position, you don't have to be on finance committee. You can be in USG. And finally, I would like to thank those of you who have supported me and helped me, and I would like to take this time to tell everyone that I appreciate y'all very much. Thank you.
Jesus. Vice President Wang.
Does the speaker wear that's her birthday today?
Yes.
Oh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jesus. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Representative Perlowski.
Have we ever considered, as through the Finance committee, whenever a club applies for a disbursement, I know we approve the, like, cups, $20, t-shirt subsidy, X amount of dollars. Have we ever thought of giving them this form with the event name and the description filled in, and then they can write the actual amount they spent? So it would like kind of streamline the where is it coming from process?
I'm not sure. When I look at my Excel sheet, it should already tell me like how much that item was allocated for, and then whenever I look at their receipt, it would tell me as well.
Okay, it just seems as though like maybe part of the problem was coming with them not naming it properly or getting lost in translation.
Usually I'm able to decipher what they're saying.
Any other points for the speaker? Thank you, Treasurer.
All right, thank you.
Vice President Wang.
Good evening. Last week, the Academic Affairs Committee hosted the administrative chat room with Don Feek, Lynn Singer, and Jeff Wolkowitz. It was really crucial to our research. Specific details are in my board report, and I'm going to let you guys read them at your own discretion. Very important thing. I know the parliamentarian has a tip of the week, but I have a tip of the week. Please do not go into an important meeting when you did not sleep the previous night, okay? Just so you know. And speaking of important meetings, I went to an international planning committee this morning, and then we were talking, this committee basically enforces the Provost strategic plan on internationalization, and it has 4 primary functions it wants to enforce. Number 1 is a function structure for the Office of International Affairs within the university. What this means is that this committee will oversee all internationalization efforts on campus, whether it's study abroad programs or diversity here on campus. The second thing is a comprehensive international undergraduate student recruitment and retention strategy. Now this part is done by the subcommittee on international student recruitment, retention, and campus life. So this is all the domestic issues here at campus diversity, and what they plan to do is things such as like scholarships for international students, having various schools departments have programs to foster international students, and also grant financial aids to international students. The third thing is expand undergraduate education abroad. Now this also means expanding more study abroad programs. Dean Tian is on his way to China again. David Flesher will be going to India and China as well. Also, we want to increase not just study abroad programs, but also international research, international co-ops, international internships. These are all goals by the provost that are essential. And this is also led by the study abroad subcommittee. Last thing, the establishment and maintenance of a database of international activity at the university that will foster and support collaboration within and outside the university to advance internationalization. What this is kind of like the collegiate link for internationalization. What this does, it's a central database for everything that does international, keeps track of administrators and faculty going abroad to like form new partnerships or to do research, and also keeps track of all the study abroad and international programs that our school has to offer. Now, what I suggested is that there should be now currently this is more of an administrative type of thing. I suggested that students should have a view in this, and what will happen, how this will benefit you guys is, if you guys have like, interest in going to study abroad, want to do an international co-op, this is like your database where you'll see all the study abroad programs, all the international programs, outside co-op, whatever. And then there will be like who you talk to, how many students have done this, their feedbacks on their comments. So that's, so it'll be a great database for you guys, great resources for you guys to enhance. And all of these research have been done comparatively to other universities. We've looked at other universities like Duke, Carnegie Mellon, and MIT. They all do this, and we're trying to follow in their tracks. We gotta keep up with other competitive universities. And last thing is midterm study break next week, 2nd and 3rd, 9 p.m. to noon. Please be there, tell your friends about it, and if you'd like to volunteer, that would be great. So I'm open to points.
Any points for the speaker? Excellent. Thank you, Vice President. Vice President Sanford?
I yield my time to Representative Mills.
All right, good evening, everyone. For the PR committee, we've been discussing midterm study breaks. So as VP Wang said, March 2nd and 3rd, 9 p.m. to midnight in KSL. USG will have a stand, so if anyone wants to volunteer for that, please contact any of your PR committee members. We are also looking into t-shirts, and we will be sending out a survey to GA to kind of look at some ideas and decide on which ones you think fit best. We're also trying to come up with a campaign theme, so if anyone has any ideas, please let us know. Right now we're kind of at a standstill. We've heard about 2 ideas that aren't very widely liked, so I mean, if anyone has any ideas, please let us know. And I yield the rest of the time to Peter for Representative Spotlight.
All right, our first spotlight, their favorite crayon color is razzmatazz. The strangest thing they ever ate, crocodile. Special talent, blowing bubbles. Huh?
Yeah, it's Representative Claire Hammond.
No. Soda versus pop, pop. One thing not able to live without, orange juice. Year major caucus, first year, BME, freshman. Born and raised, Kingston, Jamaica, Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Representative Ashwell.
That is correct. Would you like a Butterfingers or a Reese's? All right. All right, our second one. Soda versus pop. Pop, always. Special talent. I can wiggle my ears.
Representative Zoltan.
No. Correct. And I just have to also read this. The strangest thing ever ate. Don't think I'm crazy, skunk cabbage. When I was 7, my grandma wanted to prove to me that if you were lost in the wilderness, you could eat it and survive. Just for the record, I would probably starve.
Wow. Thank you, PR committee. Vice President Thompson.
So IT is working on a number of things. We're getting ready for elections. We're looking through Collegiate Link and seeing how that's going to work. So if you haven't noticed, the internet's been slow. Representative Lupton is emailing ITS and looking into that. The website's coming along good, or well. I upgraded the server to a more recent version of the operating system, so should be more stable. And Matt Knapfel is working on a new logo. And electronic voting, I know it's kind of been on the back burner, but Representative Bagat is looking into that. So I'm open to points.
Okay. Thank you, Vice President. This time we'll move into caucus reports. For the Engineering Caucus, Representative Downey.
No report, but I'm open to points.
Thank you. Arts and Science, Representative Lupton.
I was just curious to, there's a survey that we've been putting together. I just don't know, when are we actually going to send it out?
We're going to hopefully end the
Excellent. Arts and Science, Representative Bagat.
We'll be meeting next week to discuss our recurring event coffee and comments and planning that out, as well as discussing when we'll be having dinner with Wayne.
Super. Weatherhead, Representative Zhang. Okay. Okay. Nursing, Representative Irick. Breaking the chain.
This past Thursday, the Nursing Caucus attended Career Connections at the nursing school. It was a dinner that was sponsored by the Alumni Association. We have cupcake complaints coming up on March 16th and 17th from 11:30 to 1:30, and it'll be in the ground floor of the nursing school. So we made a poster. We're gonna hang that up around the nursing school and send out some emails, and hopefully a lot of people will come to that. And we're having dinner with Dwayne on Thursday, and I'm open to points.
I can see you back there. Representative Hamilton.
Did you say it was cupcake complaints?
Yes, we did cupcake compliments in the fall, and it's cupcake complaints in the spring.
Just like, I guess to bring negative vibe, maybe possibly changing their name to Cupcake Comments instead, and that might not foster a potentially hostile attitude.
We could discuss. We have a survey that they fill out actually, so, but we could talk about that as a caucus.
Representative Tyken.
We named it Cupcake Complaints because we just wanted students to give us lots of feedback, and we thought that it was our job as a caucus to turn those into positive, constructive criticism and comments. And the students actually really enjoy it, so we're keeping it.
Representative Bagat.
What are you guys ordering? We're doing. I don't know what orders.
Jimmy John's.
Representative Moser.
A little while ago, I talked to you about, one of my friends was a nursing student, has some complaints about like how organized like the senior capstone stuff was. I was wondering like what kind of plans you have to work on that?
We did bring that up. There's not really a lot that they can do. Our class, the class that's going to be a capstone, that's going on their capstone is 80 students, where there's normally usually 60. So they're a little overwhelmed. So I don't know if we did bring that up, but I don't know of any plans. We can follow up with that though, with Dr. Lotus on Friday.
Representative Perlowski.
Just a suggestion for the nursing caucus. I feel like it would be beneficial to the entire student body if you maybe discussed making maps of the nursing school, because it's really tricky if you've never had a class in there. Like personally, I have had a class this whole semester now, and it's very difficult to find the rooms because it's like a waffle pattern. So, I mean, it could be beneficial for new students as well as people who just have never been in the building.
Right, we can talk about that.
Okay. Thank you, Representative Tyken. The first year, Representative Fernandez.
We did not meet last week, but we sent a doodle out for new meeting time because it wasn't working out very well after GA. We will finalize the meeting time today, and we'll brainstorm for a new feedback event the second week after spring break at Western Point.
Excellent. Thank you. Parliamentarian Agrawal.
Okay, so hopefully we will elect our election commissioner tonight, and after that we need a commission. So I need 2 members required of the Constitution to have 2 members of GA be a part of the commission. And same rules apply. You can't run in the election if you're on the commission. But yeah, I need 2 people. So please, this is not elected, this is appointed. So you can come to me, or you can come to, or go to the actual election commissioner who gets elected today and ask them if you're interested, or somebody may come to you and ask you if you could be on the commission. So just deal with that, yes.
What are the responsibilities of the commission?
It's basically just assisting the commissioner in informing students about the processes of the election and handling any judicial problems that may occur for election violations, because the election commissioner cannot handle by themselves any violations that occur. They need someone to consult with, just like I have my judicial board. The election commission has commissioner has a commission to handle such issues. The commissioner may also delegate all the tasks so that he or she does not have all the work to do. So it's kind of like your responsibilities will be more defined once the election commissioner has been elected and kind of talks to you about what they would like you to help them with.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Parliamentarian. We do have one representative to swear in today before our guest speaker, so please join us up front, right here, front and center. Keep coming.
Yeah.
I'm so smooth.
Mm-hmm.
All the way in the middle, like right, there you go.
Good.
No, but you have to face them. A little this way. There you go.
So forceful. Can you please raise your right hand? I state your name in full.
I would be
Do solemnly swear, as a representative of the USG, to responsibly represent my constituency to the best of my ability. I promise to faithfully uphold the Constitution and all appropriate bylaws of the USG. As an elected representative to the USG. As an elected representative to the USG. I further pledge to serve the students of Case Western Reserve University with integrity and honesty. Congratulations.
All right. Well, Ms. Oy, thank you for staying with us for so long. If you'd please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me. Colleen said something to me earlier while we were sitting in the back. She said Tuesday night's her favorite night of the week, and we know why. And something she doesn't know I was going to say, but one of my favorite moments was, several years ago, 6, 7, 8, 9 maybe, when I came to Colleen and said, I need help connecting with students. Give me some names, please. And we sat for a long time and talked. And out of that came semester visits here, yearly visits there, visits over to us, and lots of folks going, hi. And I have to admit, I don't always remember your names, but I sure know where you've come from, because the most vocal folks are from USG, and I love coming here. I also believe you should come with presents once in a while. So it's up to you to pass this around quickly. These are markers. The caps are tight because they've not been taken off yet. It has the library URL on one side, that all-important library.case.edu, and the hours hotline on the other side. Those of you who have heard me before know I always have a question or two. How many of you have been to KSL and 24/7 this year? Numbers are kind of sliding, folks, so I'm keeping my eye on that. Finding the new students aren't as aware this year, so we're going to see if we can boost that up a bit. I always enjoy listening to what's going on before I come here, and putting it in parallel with my day. So someone said, yeah, I had 5 tests this week. And it's like, I had 5 meetings today. I was glad to come here and sit for a while and not have to be on the phone or be caught. Who's going to get the coffee and donuts? That happens everywhere, especially in libraries. Globalization was mentioned earlier, and that's a hot topic for everyone who wants us to help them start their research. In all the schools and colleges on campus, it's just one of the top moments that there are. And emotional moments when you're meeting with people or having people in meetings. I would give you a little tip, because I do this all the time as head of customer services. When someone demands to see someone upstairs, they end up in my door. I only have one goal. When they leave, they feel better. It's that simple. Because I know along the way they're going to learn something. So when Shengbo appeared in my door today as I was about ready to leave for somewhere, I could tell in his face he had a question. And I could also tell it wasn't going to be, please help me get out of this $1,000 fine or something. Sometimes when you have those emotional moments in groups, and it's very hard, when it gets emotional, the information you give back to that person is not as important as the message you're giving him when you're answering him or her. And sometimes the information we give sounds like a point-to-point, me, you, me, you, me, you, and then the other person's emotions often keep building. And once you get into an emotional situation, nobody wins. It's really impossible. So keep in mind the information you give someone, it's more about the message that comes across. So when people come to me and they're really stressed, my initial message to them, body language and everything, is have a seat, let's talk, which immediately takes it down and makes them more comfortable. So just a quick tip from someone who deals with it all the time and actually likes dealing with those kinds of situations. One other comment to the people who are dealing with the coffee next door at Twing. I tell you, there's 100 people working next door who don't want the coffee to go away. So you need any extra help, we're there for you. And maps for the nursing school, by gosh, I'd like one for PBL. You know, every time I go in there, I can't figure out which faculty member I'm going to see, and I've always got the wrong elevator. Are we going to be able to do a little driving on screen? Okay. A couple things I'd like to show you. I try not to bring more than 3 things, and I'd like to show you a few. So let's just go to library.kstud.edu, no W's. And we've been working on ways to bring more of the research to you so that you can have it more often than not. One question while he's bringing that up I have for you. If you were able to look on the catalog real quick and text a number to yourself or a piece of data, would you do that? Would that be interesting to you? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. All right, some schools are trying to do that. They're writing programs to sort of kludge it in from the catalog, and I thought that sounded intriguing, so I thought I'd throw that out there. On the library homepage, on the upper left corner, you find some quick links for things. They're on the blue icons all along the left-hand side. And near the top, you find one for research tools. Top left, along the edge there, and you see that fly out. If you go down to the one called Research Guides, right there you go. This is something new we've developed over the last year. If you've been in SAGES classes with some of us, you might have seen this online. Instead of making long handouts for you, we try to put what we're telling you online. The best databases to use for your class, the best ways to get an article, the best ways to find more like it, which is my particular routine. You got a good book, I'll tell you how to find more like it and get from maybe 18,000 items down to 3 in 2 or 3 clicks. So research guides, if you scroll down a little bit, we've started making them. I don't know how many we have yet, but you can see along the left they're divided by categories. You see a big one for SAGES. We won't click into that, but they are all levels of SAGES. And then you can do a Control F on your screen if you're looking for a particular number. It's probably the fastest way to bring it up. In the middle, you see ones that are featured ones, and we try to keep a SAGES first seminar at the top. And if you feel you might have missed something along the way in your year 2 or 3, take a peek in there and see if something is interesting. And you see even the most featured ones in the center now range from film studies to anthropology, back to SAGES again, and a graduate student handbook. And by 2 weeks from now, we are building one for international students. Okay, we're in the process of building it. We're meeting weekly. I've got a lot of things on there myself, and this past fall, Weatherhead came to us and said, we've got graduate students, I think 180 of them, and we'd like you and another librarian who does business over there to give them a general introduction because they found that people were kind of floundering. And so we spent an entire day over there just targeting some getting started tips and using good language to get them going. And we've been doing similar things throughout the year, and with the news that international applications are up, and they will bring the student body more diverse with that international students. You're very wise to be thinking about that for next year because there's going to be a great need. So that will come up, and I'm going to make sure that one gets in Case Daily. So if as you're talking with colleagues or you think someone might take advantage of that, look for it and point it out. On the left-hand box, you see you can search by author. Let's go into author for just a second. This is on the left-hand side. In this box here, up at the top, search by author, right over there. And if you look at Brian Gray, partway down on the top, he's our embedded librarian. Anybody engineering oriented in here? There's a librarian over at Nord several days a week. He has an office there, although they keep moving him around as building requirements change. So right now I think he's on a rolling cart, but he is getting an office somewhere on 3rd or 4th floor. And Brian puts together a lot of things. And once you click on his name, you'll get things for engineering, from basic to advanced. There's a little bit of chemistry in there. If you scroll down, there's even one for patents. And we all kind of customize our pages a little differently. So bring up anything you like down there in patents. Patents are always tricky. So you see, He's got the Ask a Librarian logo in the upper left-hand corner, and anybody can use that from the KSL homepage at any time. There's actually real people there starting at 1 in the afternoon through most weeknight evenings. I even take a turn at that once in a while. And if it's offline, put your question in anyway, and the next person on duty will get back to you. It's not the best place to start a long project, but a quick, how do you do, we'll work on there. And so he has a quick list down the left-hand side, the U.S. Patent Office, some special research tools that are general in the box under that. And then in the middle, looks like a list of resources, how to search, how to find, what are some of those terms that the U.S. Patent Office uses. So this is a quick guide for finding patents. And a lot of people need to find patents. Many of them can be found online now. Cleveland Public Library downtown is a patent depository. So if you're really going to be deep into this, a visit down there, you will be in heaven. You will just go in and never come out again. It's one of the research wonders of Northeast Ohio and really the country. So let's back out and go back to the author list again, and I'll show you one of mine, because I stuck a widget on one of them. All the way back, keep coming back. And pull up Karen Oy right there. And I don't know, let's click the economics one, the one right there in the middle. So I've got the University of Wharton on a podcast on the left. That's the business school that everyone wants to go to. I've actually been there. I've got quick links in the middle to get you to journals and things if you keep scrolling down. You'll find an economics page. You'll find a bit about VPN. And on one of the other pages, we won't go there, I've stuck a widget. I try not to get it too long so you don't have to scroll. There'll be an actual widget to pop right in to Academic Search Complete or Business Source Complete, and then that's just a quick gateway into 40 other databases by the same company. That is our favorite because it's just so intuitive, and the databases give you the suggested terms once you put something in. So look and explore those pages. If you would like to see some for a particular topic, let us know. It may already be there. We're building them as fast as we can, and we like to put input in there. I have a few more to build for business, and then I'm going to take a deep breath and put a poll on one of them. Question and answer. You just give it to me, okay? So take a look. Research guides, trying to bring things to you, and the International Handbook will be there, and I'll give Dwayne a heads up when I do that. The other thing on the library homepage, if you can get back to library.kstudy.edu, have any of you looked at, know of, or taken a Case Learns class? Case Learns is a series, well, it's free classes and all kinds of things, from learning how to do SPSS right in a classroom with someone to help you, how to make your research poster better with someone who has come from industry and works with us now. And if you've ever seen our printer, it's 5-6 feet wide. She actually helps you do things. If you scroll down a little bit on the left-hand side under the blue icons, there's Case Learns classes for the next 2 or 3 days that show up there. But you can click into any of them and get the full spring schedule. So whether you got a new digital camera and you'd really like to take some lessons from the guys down in the Friedman Center on how to use it smarter or better, or take a Photoshop class to play around with those images, learn how to search smarter, learn how to use SPSS, or write markup language or TEI language. There's all kinds of free classes in there. Only one is fee-based, and that would be for advanced map making and things like that. So take a look at Case Learns. The other thing that's going on in Case Learns, and the reason I'm mentioning it to you is these are classes in the building. Most of them are in KSL. One of the classes I teach is copyright, and I will go anywhere and teach copyright, so I'm often called to departments. And lately I've been taking some of my classes, like creating journal alerts, to department meetings, to lunch talks, to wherever. But one of our other librarians he's messing around trying to put them online. So he's got some that are showing up as Adobe Connect sessions. So I'd encourage you to look through there. It's Brian Gray who's experimenting with that. I just really found out about it last week, and I'm going to try doing some of that too. Why? Because you're busy. And most of these classes are in the building when we're there. And I'm about the only night owl, so you'll find me there at 7, 8 o'clock at night. You'll find me there next week when you come, next week? Oh gosh, when you come to do the treats. But for the others, you know, daytime is a challenge. So we're experimenting with putting some of those classes online through Adobe Connect. Again, if you see a class you'd really like and you'd like us to try that online, shoot me an email. Let's scoot down to the very bottom of the page. In that footer in the middle, where it says Contact Us, After I leave tonight, you forget my name, you've never seen me before, but you want to send me an email, you hit that link, because that goes to me. Okay, so that's the most direct link to me. There's one other thing that I'd like to show you, but I think I'm going to leave under the guise of good timing. If you've ever wanted some data, you need a little bit of data to support your work. Well, let's try this real quick. Under catalog on the left-hand side, bottom, there you go. Along the red line that comes up, you'll find a quick link to the research databases. This is where I start all my research. The red line that goes across the whole top of the page. There's a quick link for research databases right in the middle. There you go. Yeah, I try to do right, left, top, bottom for you. Let's go into business. On the left, these are all your categories. We have 400 databases. You don't want to look through a list of 400. You might want a list of only several. And let's try the subcategory for market and industry analysis. We have a new product, and if you scroll down to the L's, it should be under LexisNexis. I hope it's been put in this particular area. Whoops. Actually, let's go back. Let's go back to all. We just got this a few days ago, and then when it all comes up again, hit L for Lexis. Just hit L in the alphabet, and scroll down to LexisNexis data sets. Oops, no, we need to go back to all of the subjects, very top. Yeah, because you're in a subfolder here now. If you've ever wondered, okay. So sometimes you just need a quick data point, or you need a quick little graph to pump up your project. And so in LexisNexis data sets, I think there are 12 billion data points in there. And I kid you not, in just a few seconds, you could create a chart, and you could show. It's still going. It's a long list. You could show, and I did this this afternoon right before I left Peter B. Lewis, because I do service over there once a week. Well, this is why we're not going to show it, right? It'll be another email link.
I'm sure it's just me.
In under probably 40 seconds, I used the links on the datasets page, and I'll send you the links. You don't need to struggle with that anymore. Okay, you get another marker for struggling. I decided I wanted to know what the landing on time ratio was for airplanes at Cleveland Hopkins Airport in 1990, 2000, and last year. You don't want to see what number came up. It went from like 70% down to 19% and back up again a little bit. But in under 45 seconds, I was able to click through that and create a graph that I could export, that I could put a better name on it, make it a little prettier. LexisNexis data sets. And I will send the link to Dwayne, because I see a lot of heads nodding and trying to write it down, because there's a quick tip into getting deep into it really fast. And sorry to put you on the spot, but it's hard to be here and look there and not down there. So that's some of the big news I wanted to share with you coming this semester. Unfortunately, not in time for tonight. There will be some very cool equipment coming to the library. Very cool equipment. One of them, have you ever done any microfilm? Has anybody had that love-hate relationship with a microfilm machine? You sit down, there's this big hulking gray thing and you don't know how to do, and you need another lens. Well, we're going to have a microfilm machine, actually two of them, that are not much bigger than two laptops put together, with a 24-inch high-resolution screen in front of you. It's like watching TV, watching your microfilm go by, and it's no buttons, no dials, nothing to break, no light bulbs that burn out. Watch for those on the first floor in about a month. We are investigating walk-up scanners, okay, instead of photocopying. Nobody wants to photocopy anymore. They don't want to create paper. So we already have a product in mind that some other places are using. This will come out of digital case money, because the library generally certainly doesn't have this kind of money. So I was hoping to bring you more news about that today, but unfortunately I can't. And when it does, I'll send you an email, because we'll all invite you over. We should have a big open house when it comes. Very, very cool. Trying to move forward with a little bit of gift money. Put something that's easy for you to use, make it fun to come over. It's already fun to come over, right? Right. Especially March 2nd and 3rd between 9 and midnight. All right. Any questions for me? I've always got a lot for you, but never have time to do any questions. Any questions for me? I mean, you know how to get me. Bottom of any page, contact us. Yes?
I would just like to say that first thing that you showed looked really good. It actually looked really useful. Like, for example, I noticed there was something like how to find standards.
And because a couple weeks ago, I was looking for a standard by the SAE, and we had a book, but I couldn't find it for the life of me, so I had to eventually email somebody. But I think like stuff like that will find it easy.
And standards, to be honest, are always tricky. And when I worked at NASA here in Cleveland in the library, we'd sort of grown, oh, we need standards, you know. We don't have, because we're not corporate, we don't have the licensing power to license online standards. Cleveland Public Library does downtown, and that's a quick ride on the hybrid health line. I was just down there the other day looking again at what they've got. They have for decades had standards in towers and CDs and on paper, and now of course they're online. So there are certain things academics will never get just in terms of cost. Standards don't have to be that hard. But, you know, on Brian's page, he knows lots of folks need those. So look for his links. And you can use those, you know, at any time. And if you forget what his name is or forget where it is, put something in Ask a Librarian and say, where's those pages, those guides? What we'd like to do is get them linked from the case catalog, but the case catalog is shared by all the campus libraries. And these are our guides for our constituents. And it's a product we bought. So we're trying to convince the other libraries to pay a portion of it and then put at their nursing things and their dentistry and other things for their guides. And then we could put it off the catalog because it would really be shared by everybody. Yes?
I was going to say I was actually very excited for the idea that you had at the very beginning about texting.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually at the library this weekend trying to find books and trying to like fumble for a paper and pen to write down a bunch of numbers.
Right, right. I think it could be practical. It may not be earth-shaking, but it could be practical. And again, not using a lot of paper. Sometimes you're just not in a place where you could even write if you wanted to. Anybody else behind me? Sorry. I'm sorry.
Representative Lupton.
Yeah, I just want to have a comment. I loved your the resources. Like you go into the library, you take left, and there's like some guy sitting at a desk, and it says like, "Come talk to me about your research." And every single research paper I've ever read, I don't ever look through the website. I mean, I should. But they're so informative.
Human interaction is the best kind of PR. And anybody who's studying marketing and PR now today knows that it's not about the old textbooks, it's mouth to mouth, person to person. And it's true. And something else we put up this week, something I discovered myself at a conference a few months ago. I was talking with a vendor. He was standing beside me and he was on his laptop and we were chatting and he's showing me something and I had an oh my gosh moment. He had a dual screen facing me. As he was talking, I was making eye contact with him right here, although he was sideways. I saw in front of me what he was doing. And I came back and said, we're going to put this in place to change your experience. So if you've not been in the last 4 or 5 days, when you come over now to the reference desk, there's another monitor. And there's no more lean around here. I'll turn my computer. Whoops, I unplugged it. Sorry. You know, it drove me crazy. But little things can excite me, and it's all about the person-to-person experience. And if you don't have to worry about reaching over and getting in space, I was showing someone the other day how to do some industry reports. Just in getting started, he could not write fast enough. He kept grabbing for the scratch paper. I finally just held it out because he would not take his eyes off that screen. So come over and see how it works. If it's not on when you get there, say, can you show me something here? Because we're still trying to get some of the folks to use it. You know, it's a great way to show what's going on. And it might intrigue you. And 3 other people walked by and went, what is that? Because with 400 databases, you tend to use the 2 or 3, if you're using them, and hopefully you are for your money and your time here. You don't get to all of them. And you might miss a fabulous one just because you haven't seen it. So do come and talk with us. Or pick up the phone or say, I need an appointment with somebody. 10 minutes will get you going, and we'll probably turn you on to something you've never seen before. Like that. Like good questions. Thank you for the comment. I'll take that back home to everybody. Anything else so I can get out of your way? I always enjoy your meeting. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, Ms. Oye. Excellent. Well, at this time, we will move into old business. Is there any legislation to be removed? Seeing none, we will now open elections for the election commissioner. Yes, sir? We do. We have 1 candidate nominated currently, that is Representative Moeller. Are there any other nominations at this time? Okay, seeing none. Oh, Representative Hammond. Scott, he declined. Okay, any other nominations? All right, Representative Moeller, if you would please take the podium and address us.
Hello, General Assembly. I got a few emails about this, just kind of asking, Kevin, why are you doing this? You can't run for a position next year. But I feel like it was important for me to step up here and that I'll be back as an at-large no matter what, at least. So I guess this is my way of saying that I kind of want to get out there, show what I can do in a more leadership-y role, rather than, I think I've been a good follower this year, but rather not done much of kind of what I want to do. So I really believe that I can handle the workload. I'm excited to show what I can do. I would intend to keep in touch with, or at least maybe attend PR and IT meetings. I guess Chris Hernandez talked to me about being on the commission, so that's cool. He's experienced, which I'm not. So, questions?
Any questions for the speaker? Yeah.
Could you speak to a time where you've had a conflict with a peer and how you resolved that?
Conflict with a peer. Okay. I guess I'll talk about a story that I have, and I use this a lot in my orientation leader interviews, about how I was in high school. I was squad leader in marching band. I had these two little kids. They were freshmen, and they were really annoying, and they didn't get along at all. And so I kind of just had to take them aside, show them where each other was coming from, trying to show them understanding, just kind of show them that they were not necessarily right, but this is kind of how you can work to compromise. So,
any other questions for the speaker? Ms. Sagawa?
I'm kind of excited to do this, so I don't know. I was thinking about the last few days, and I just kind of got really excited for it. And I don't think that my involvement in USG would change much. I think I can do just as much as a large rep. So,
Representative Downey.
Can you speak to your time commitments at the end of elections? Because the last couple of days you kind of have to put in a lot of hours sometimes. It's kind of hit or miss, but do you have a lot around that time?
I know that's during Greek week. I think that's my main commitment at that time. But I would be totally committed, and I would hopefully surround myself with people on my commission that aren't necessarily Greek and can be involved and are experienced. So,
other questions for the speaker? Okay. Representative Mueller, if you would please step outside now, and we will have a little discussion. Are we going offline? Oh. Okay. Any points for discussion? Representative Perlowski. Anyone else? Vice President Thompson?
And I'm also sure that the fall, somebody's going to resign on
Whoa.
But I'm sure there'll be.
Excuse me. Any other points for discussion? Representative Fernandez?
I believe he's been very smooth there every time. He's always committed to everything he does, and what he commits to, he fulfills everything he says he's going to do. And he, as part of the executive caucus, he's a great asset to us, and I think he's a great message maker.
As a reminder that since we only have one candidate, you are not obligated to elect him, but we do need to elect an election commissioner this week, so that shouldn't affect your decision. Vote on whether or not he's qualified. Representative Downey. Can't do that, but you can move to previous question. Okay. All in favor of ending discussion, please signify by raising your hands. Super. Could we please bring Kevin back in, meow? Oh, well, he has a vote as an elected representative. We can't vote by acclamation for an elected position. Never assume. We can vote by hand vote, as was the intent, but we do have to welcome him back in before we vote. Yes, sir. No, we're all adults here. I think we can handle this. So we will vote at this time, and we will be voting by hand. Kevin, if you'd like to close your eyes, it's been suggested you could do that, but you don't have to. We are not doing a heads down, hands up vote. We are doing a hands up vote. So all in favor of voting Kevin Mueller to election commissioner, please signify by raising your hand. Okay. All opposed? Oh my God, so many hands. Can't even count. Any abstentions? Okay. You can put your head up, Kevin. Congratulations. Audio is back. Sorry? Congratulations, Kevin Mueller, on your election. Is there any other old business? This was old business, but it was misprinted because this is business from a pre-existing. All right. That's new business. We will now move into new business. Are there any nominations for, there's no legislation, are there any nominations for the School of Engineering vacancy? Representative Lupton.
Did all the people that we nominated last week deny, or they just accept?
They did not respond.
They didn't respond?
The way I do this is I send them an email asking them for a letter of intent by Sunday, and I didn't get a response anybody.
Can I nominate Curtis?
Have you talked to him?
No. He came one time. I don't know him.
I did email him, he didn't respond. So I recommend if you're nominating somebody, please talk to them first and ask them if they're at all interested. So that there's a higher chance of my getting a response back from them. So, and just let them know that they're being nominated. And yeah.
Can you, or does anyone have the list of people that ran last time? Because there were several people that ran the engineering caucus last time, and you did. Do you still have the names? Can you email them again?
We can go back into archives and find those names. Yeah, could do that. Sure.
Any nominations? Is procedure for the people who were nominated last week that did not respond that they declined, or that they are still nominated?
If they're renominated.
Okay.
I can email them again. But
So if they were nominated last week, they are not still nominated. They have declined by not submitting a letter of intent. Representative Begat? Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. Nominations will remain open until we vote next week, pending a interested candidate. Is there any other new business? Yes, Colleen?
Are we nominating tonight for the election commission?
Those are appointed.
Those are appointed. So when we have an entire election commission,
The assembly makes recommendations.
Not within the GA. It's usually recommended to the, well, the election commissioner is supposed to be the one who appoints somebody.
Okay.
And then the election commissioner brings their commission up to GA, and the GA has to approve the commission.
Representative Mueller?
I am open to suggestions, though.
Yeah, he is. Representative Begat?
I'm just wondering, because elections are on the 26th of March, right? If we nominate someone this week and then they be elected potentially next week, and then they don't perform until the week afterward, and then it's for a week or so, and then we have elections again.
You're referring to the vacancy in the engineering caucus? The vacancy, the position would, in theory, only be filled for 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
They fulfill
But
the term of that representative.
correct, which is to mid-April. But it is in our bylaws that when we have a vacancy that we have to attempt to fill it. So we will keep bringing this up even if no one is elected. Okay. We will now move into open forum. Excuse me. Are there any points for open forum? Representative Downey.
I actually have 3 points, just real quick. The first one is there's been no civil wear or service wear or cups, that kind of things in Privilege for like the past little while. I knew this came up my freshman year in Boyker. Is there a problem with like kids stealing stuff again? I mean, because that's what it was before. Is that the issue there, or are they just not having the help? Because it's kind of annoying that you can't take a drink or use silverware.
I have not heard anything on this, but I do have a meeting with Jim O'Brien soon, so I'll talk to him about it.
The next point was engineering reading room in Nord. I don't know if anyone has noticed, but it has been taken away. It's no longer there for students. There didn't used to be a door on it. There's now a door. It's closed. I looked in at curiosity, and all the furniture and everything's been removed. I talked to Paul Holder. I called and emailed him, and he's not responding to me. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I just thought I'd raise that up. And my third thing is I was just searching through the USG website, and this is on student organization recognition funding and disbursements. And it has this line there at the top that says, also do not hesitate to contact Vice President of Finance, Michael Petrick, with any questions. And I was just curious if we could maybe get this updated. Yeah, I know it's a little late in the year, but especially with mass funding coming up, I think it would be very important to have the correct on there.
Vice President Weber.
Well, I mean, the correct contact information is all over the rest of the website, and the email is sent out.
Right. I'm just saying, like, for clarification, someone, I know students said this before, so if we can just change that name and link, that'd be, you know,
Okay. Vice President Thompson.
2 things, just to respond to that. I think one of the things that you can implement on a new site is to make all those links generic, like USG Finance at case.edu. And so whenever a new VP comes in, just change who's ever on the list in the listserv, and then the name might be wrong, but get sent to the right person. Second thing, I guess for Representative Downey, but have you considered using Collegiate Link for your engineering survey?
No.
You want?
Representative Lupton.
Yeah, do we know where the books went from engineering room?
There was quiet. And I don't know.
Colleen?
Did you email the dean?
I did not.
Email the dean.
Okay.
And see if you can get a response.
Cool. Any other points for open forum? Representative Moeller.
I want to say it was last Thursday that I met with representatives from informational technology on the second floor of KSL, and we were talking about clicker consolidation. So basically what we talked about was the first step would be investigating who teaches with what clickers, that kind of stuff, and talking with the vendors, that kind of thing. So I was wondering, just feedback, like have any of you had to buy 2 clickers, basically, 2 different clickers for classes?
1, 2, 3. Could you raise your hand if you've had to buy 2 clickers just for 1, 2, 3? 3? Okay. Vice President Nguyen?
I can tell you that in the physics building itself, they use a different clicker because they've made one themselves. They put sensors or scanners in the classroom, so that's why they keep on continuing to use their specific clicker because it's developed that way. So that may be one of the reasons why.
Okay. Any other points for open forum? Okay. No? Colleen?
No report.
Super. Does anyone have any announcements now? Representative Hamilton?
On Thursday, the Academic Integrity Board is holding a lunch forum about cognitive enhancers, in other words, Adderall, and the usage of it on campus. There's going to be 3 speakers there. One of them will be Lynn Singer. They're all doctors. It should be a pretty informative discussion. There will be free food. There's 2 flyers up there. You know the agendas. If you really want to go, take one.
Okay. Representative Mueller?
The faculty-student basketball game is this. Friday, and I guess I wanted to assign GA homework in that you should tell at least one person about the game because it's a campus tradition and it's going to be really cool.
Yes, sir.
How many's playing? You're playing, right?
Yeah, I just want to see if anybody else in the USG is playing.
I don't think so.
President Pinder?
So first thing, I would like to congratulate Representative Crowley and Representative Moser on their awesome job in Vagina Monologues this weekend. Today's an amazing show. If you didn't see it, you missed out. UPB is having a poetry jam with Shion the Poet in the writer room on this Thursday at 7 o'clock. She has a really great poet. I have on his album. It's really, really cool. So if you don't have anything to do Thursday, 7 o'clock, go to Southside, the writer room. You do some really great poetry. I think they're going to have refreshments also. Also, the USG Diversity Ad Hoc Committee is promoting 2 cultural dinners that are coming up this weekend. The African American Society is having their cultural dinner on Friday, and the Asian American Alliance is having their dinner on Saturday. So you're going to be, we just started this campaign today, so you can see these cool flyers go around. There's one on Collegiate Link about the diversity weekend. So if you have a chance, come support these events. These are really cool cultural events to kind of educate the campus on diverse issues. Okay?
President O'Brien?
I know I've sent out a few emails and there is a sign up in the USG office, but I, along with Jay, have been trying to organize an intramural soccer team for an indoor soccer tournament. We need at least 5 players to play, and we need at least 3 females to play. Otherwise, we cannot play. Deadlines for sign up on March 5th. Excuse me. That's not this Friday, but next Friday. So please, if you're interested, sign up. It's just one night of soccer. So if you like playing soccer, or if you don't like playing soccer, you just want to go out and have a good time, please sign up. That's it.
Colleen?
Are all the at-large members on the USG email list?
They should be.
That's a group that I think might not lot of our at-large are not here. Like a lot of our at-large are serving on standing committees. So if the vice presidents look around and see really active, very engaged people who are not here, make sure they get this invitation. Because I would love to see USG kick some butt.
Any other point? Yes, Representative Bagat. Whoa, whoa. It has not been seconded, but before anyone does, I just want to comment on how fantastic everyone looks tonight with collared shirts and ties and female equivalents of ties. You guys look fantastic tonight. And scrubs, of course. So there has been a motion to adjourn. Go home, yeah. 9. What? I just got a 12.